Buenos dias, everyone. Hello. I think I have too much light here. Let me try to fix it. I think that this is a little bit better. Anyway, you just need to listen. You don't need to see anything here. I made this post many years ago in 2017. This is the story of this video. Once upon a time, no, for real. In 2017, I made this post in my blog called Orishas of the Graveyard. The post was very popular. A lot of people read it, but for some reason, the past days, the post have some kind of highlights. So I imagine that someone is sharing the post for some reason, for discussing or for anything else. You can find the post in the link in my bio, or just go to my blog and just look for that. I made this post. I was in that moment. I was just almost 2 years here in New York. It was pretty new. My English was even worse than now. Imagine that. Yeah, that's possible. And I was very disconnected from the Afro-caribbean or African diaspora tradition of which I am initiated. I was less than 2 years here. I am very disconnected from my padrino, madrina, Yugona, and I just text with my mom. So every time that I need to make an offering or any kind of evo or any kind of magical work, I was texting my padrino, texting my madrina, texting my mom how to do this. I did this. I'm trying to do this in this way or in that way, but you are not here, so how I can replace this? Because I would like to be I like when my rituals are very well curated. I try to be respectful, especially when you're in a different land. You need to be respectful with the spirits here, right? That is very important. I don't go to graveyards and cemeteries because it's a place to let the spirits rest. I think if you don't have people there, you don't need to go there under any reason. I don't find the fun in going there. I think that is a place where people is resting and you need to let them rest, except if you are going to honoring them. So I was trying to find some new friends around, and I like to do my offerings in the entrance of the graveyard for any spirit who is coming out, who is trying to find some connection with the physical world, with a medium to work together. And I do these offerings in every cemetery around the city. I cast this kind of personal ritual to visit 13 cemeteries in 13 days, which was not possible in that moment. For the fourth time that I tried, I did it. And in each cemetery graveyard, I leave a very big offering of food, fruits, and stuff in the entrance. And was very respectful with the place, and they asked permission in the place. Are three Orishas of the Graveyard, and that post is very popular, I think, essentially because most of the times we just focus in the mainstream, right? Not just with African diaspora, also with, for example, Greek mythology, which is one of my best examples for everybody because most of the people knows a bit about Greek mythology, so it's very easy to explain yourself in that way. You know, in Greek mythology, people has these 12 Olympic gods, which is a group of gods and goddesses, like the most powerful in the Olympus, in the mythology, and not below, but next to them is all the other gods, who are not like the 12 essentials living in the Olympus. In the Orishas and in African diaspora, remember my brain is translating. Please be patient with me. In African diaspora, it's practically the same. We have a group of Orishas which everybody knows: Obbatala, Shango, Yewá, Oshun, Yembo, Oya. Some people know Oggun, some people don't. Some people know Solokun, many people don't. Some people have the grace to know who is Nanaburuku. Other people are just unhappy with their lives. Between this very group of Orishas, we also have the other Orishas who don't everybody know. Between this other group of Orishas who don't everybody knows, I have personally some favorite ones like Nanaburuku. Is like very big in Candomblé. It's not so big in Yoruba. Actually, in Venezuela, I remember that Nandoburuku is just like some kind of incarnation of the moon, which is actually very weird. In Brazil, it's very popular, and in the general African diaspora, she's like a great, big, majestic goddess, like the creation and origin source of everything. And also we have another favorite one that I have is Obba. I like to work with Obba. I am not initiated with Obba. She's not my path in my tradition, but I like to give offerings to her all the time because when I was young and I was almost ready for my initiation, when I was younger and more stupid than now, I continue being, but in that moment was worse. In that moment, I was very devoted of Obba. I asked, I can be initiated in this path, but you can't choose the path. The Orixa choose you. And I was like, I like her because, she had this very transgressive, traumatic story in which she finds strength and she turns powerful and beautiful and smarter. And she's related with the graveyard and some kind of respect in her tradition. She's not the kind of Orisha who is teaching you how to own a spirit and obligate them to do things for you. She has a very nice relation with the dead. And she also her color is pink, and I was like, I am gay, but she don't take men for the tradition, but I am gay, that don't count. And they were like, no, nobody cares. And she didn't choose me in the tradition because most of the times, traditionally, she don't choose men for the tradition because she's very away of men. So we have 3 Orishas for the graveyard, and one of them is Obba. And I made this post, and some people were asking me questions. That's the reason why I noted the post was turning popular, because I noted that 3 different persons come to my DMs asking me questions about it. So when I checked the post, the views these past days were like very high, and it was like, I don't know what is happening, but okay. Anyway, my blog is free, so you can just go and check. Don't care. That was in 2017. Sorry for the language, because probably it's a lot of grammar mistakes in there that I really feel bored to sit down to fix. So the post was essentially about the Orishas of the graveyard, and we have 3. People were asking me how you differentiate them. That is very easy. I have this in Spanish, but let me translate for you. Oya Yansá is the Orisha of the rainbow, the air, life and death. A lot of things related with magic and sorcery. She's the sorcerer, and people like to work with her. I don't go to say that she's some kind of San Cyprian in the Afro-caribbean diaspora, but when you have so many years like me in the tradition, feels a bit like that. Like people even outside of the tradition, when they are looking some kind of magical work, they look for Oyashes related with magic, sorcery, magic in the night, and with the cemetery. Everybody working with some kind of necromancy inside of the tradition is working with her. Oya is the Orisha who guards the doors of the graveyard, of the cemetery. How I explain this, how you can visualize it. When you go to the cemetery and you see the door, which usually is an arc, she's over the door, she's over the place, she's all over the place, and she see everybody who comes in and comes out, live and dead. She's like a queen in the traditions. Another is one of the few Orishas which name is not 100% related. Let me drink some water. Oya is one of the few Orishas in the African diaspora which is not entirely related or 100% related with the name of a river. Actually, the river, which is named Oya, takes the name after her, while most of the Orishas who have names from rivers take their name from the river and not the opposite. What this means? Well, it's important to remember this. When you go to the African diaspora, please forget the books. Just sit down yourself, close your eyes, and take yourself to Africa 400, 500, 600 years ago. Africa, desert, a lot of land, big mountains, not too much source of water. So the places with water for the African people were like very sacred places. And every Each one of these rivers have different names, and the people were named for the river. If you look for the histories of Oshun, for example, Yembo, for example, or Oggun, for example, Shango, no, Shango was a king. Obba, for example, Yegua, for example, their names come from the river. The people name the river, and when people relate with that tribe, which tribe is that one? That's the tribe of Obba. And it's the tribe living close to Obba, because Obba was the place and was the river. The river was the spirit of Obba, and the place was the physical body in some way of Obba. So people take the name from the Orixa, and the Orixa take the name from the river because the water was something important. Oya is one of the few who don't have a name entirely related historically with the river. The other Orishas, who are deities, they take this name from the rivers. Oya is the ward of the entrance of the cemetery. Yegua is who lives inside the coffin. Yes, I'm reading. Yegua is who lives inside the coffin. Is the Orisha related with I don't know how to translate this exactly, but it's when you love someone and this person rejects you. It's everything about that kind of feeling of I'm sorry, of rejection and this kind of stuff when you don't feel love. She is from a very important note that I have here is that her worship actually comes from Nigeria, and some books have put her worship source in a different place, and that should be corrected in any moment because she actually comes from Nigeria. She's everything related with femininity, fertility, being a virgin, being pure, the chastity, and these kind of things. I don't know if this the word is chastity or just chastity. I think it's chastity. And the other one is Obba. Obba, who dressed in pink and is beautiful and is gorgeous. She guards the grave. So which is the order? Oya is in the entrance of the cemetery. Yewá lives inside of the coffin, and Obba is who guards the graves. She's like this very strong warrior. She dresses in pink and she have a fan to cover her face and her ears. And she dances in that way when she dances. But she's mostly very well known like a warrior. And in the myth, just one Orixa was in the Batuque, which is some kind of way. I'm sorry, but I'm human. Batuque is a way to say a myth which has not been able to change in some way. It's a myth that lives in that way, it's permanent, and you can change anything around the Batuque, around the myth. So in the Batuque of her, she has just lost in a war against Oggun, and any other Orisha is less stronger than her. She cut her hair, being lied to one of her sisters. In Lukumi, Yoruba, her sister is Oya. In Candomblé, her sisters are Oya and Oshun. One of her sisters lied to her and say, if you make this offering to your husband, Shango, which you love so much, putting your hair in there, he gonna love you forever. She cut her hair and cook the hair, give to him. When he knows this, he decided to stay away of her because she don't want anything else with her. So she passed to be the former wife. She go to live in the darkness, and her father Obbatala find her crying so much that he give her permission to go to live in the graveyard, in the cemetery, where the spirits and animals and egguns will never bother her or mocking her, and actually they're gonna venerate her. She's what's the graves? That was the answer, the big answer of this very small question, but I didn't have any idea for content recently because I has been working. So thank you for the question, because this gives me the chance to make this video post. The whole post is in the link in my bio. Look in there. Bye, stay well, stay nice, be kind with everyone. Love you.